It's in the squared circle. You see, Saturday night. Oh, we're doing this. Saturday night. John Cena, the good guy of professional wrestling, Mr. Hustle, the champ, the man who stood for everything, truth, justice, the guy who literally holds the record for the most Make-A-Wish Foundation meetings of all time. People would get cancer just to meet John Cena. Last weekend, Cena flipped the script and went from being a face, a good guy, to a heel, a bad guy. Now, if you don't follow professional wrestling, and I'm guessing if you watch this show, you do not. Judging from, all right. But let me continue to bore you with this metaphor. So here's what happened. The current WWE champion is one Cody Rhodes. Seven people say around. Cody Rhodes is the people's champ. Unquestioned bravery. He stands in for Zelensky in this metaphor. A couple of weeks ago, The Rock, the now evil owner of the WWE, Putin in our story, made Cody Rhodes an offer.
The one thing that I want more than anything in this world is that I want your soul.
Putin! He wants Zelensky's soul. But sir, I am smaller and weaker than you. It will take incredible bravery for me to protect my soul and the soul of my people. But luckily, I am not protecting my soul alone. For I have the support of the great John Cena! So, Cody Rhodes, Zelensky, told Vladimir Putin, Rock, no soul for you, motherfucker! And that's when they met in the Oval Office. America went to hug Zelensky, but when America looked up, somehow Putin had given John Cena the international sign for its time. And rather than repudiate Putin, America smelled what The Rock was cooking. And through that borscht haze, America delivered the nut shot. The nut shot to the hopes and dreams of Ukrainians everywhere. And then, for no reason, America jumped on Zelensky and started punching him in the face as many times as he could.
I tend to lost souls.
Too simplistic.
The shepherd tends to his flock.
This is
30
it!
seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Am I being too simplistic, assigning
Your
to the
soul
delicate art
is
of reality
divided.
a scripted outcome?
Part of it's a sword now.
Perhaps.
That is not the only
Judge
fissure
for
I
yourself.
sense.
How
Putin
about you
broken
sense your own
25
business?
times.
Perfect
His
human.
own signature. 25 times he broken ceasefire. No
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
battle
We're
starts
not
in
in a good
5,
position.
4,
You don't have the cards
3,
right now.
2,
You're gambling
1.
with World War III.
All you need to do is capture the mission area.
World War III.
Got it?
Mr. President, $350 billion. You're either going to make a deal or we're out. This is going to be
It sure wasn't. But isn't that what you want for the high-stakes diplomacy and real-life urgency that ending war demands? And you know, even reporters got some nut shots in.
Why don't you wear a suit?
Oh,
You are
shit!
safe now, my friend.
No, you didn't! Let's do the dozen. Oh, Zelensky, you're so poor and war-torn. You're down to one Brooks brother. Oh, shit! You've so war-torn, you've given up the
Get that
meeting with
vehicle to its
protocol for business
destination.
attire. You think I'm pushing this metaphor.
I found their
Look
nest.
at the stunned face. When John Cena turned heel.
We are in this together.
I now present you the equally stunned faces of those watching this Oval Office face.
Scott, I've never seen anything like that. You've never seen anything like that.
Require some aid.
Just wow. That was something. Caitlin, I want to start with look at her face. I mean, Christian.
You broke Cristiano Ronaldo. The woman wanders unprotected through Taliban-controlled Afghanistan. Doesn't give a 10 minutes of Trump diplomacy. She's like, is anyone else dizzy?
I'll take all the healing I can get.
We are in this together.
Like A1C is
Feeling fantastic. We are undefeatable!
Nobody walked out of the night
Shields up!
pretending that the guy who got gunshot
with you!
was the bad.
There was this attitude of
Seeing him smirk, seeing him roll his eyes, seeing him refer to J.D. Vance, the vice president, as J.D.
He shows up in his Equinox chic outfit to the doggone Oval Office.
President Zelensky was also antagonistic, and frankly, he was rude.
So impertinent,
As
so
graceful and lethal as
disrespectful.
always.
Tone deaf, going in and fighting back, getting sassy with the president and the.
You needed a timeout.
He was sassy.
He was sassy.
Feeling fantastic.
You were some real scallywag.
I require some
You know
aid.
what I would say if I was there in the Oval Office with him? I'd say, better watch your... I think it was Churchill who during World War II was roundly
Vehicle reached
criticized.
a
The thing with
checkpoint.
it-
Keep up the momentum.
Excuse me, Mr. What's that where you're
Cosmos heals you.
Poor guy, Zelensky. His nation was invaded. He's against all odds, held
Here they
off a
come
much
now.
bigger army for 3 years. And we're like, would it kill you to smile a little more? Dress a little nicer, your beautiful country, nobody would know. Show off what you got, you know what I'm talking about? Maybe some of those rare metals that we heard something about.
But I guess rising prices and a tanking stock market, that's just the cost of starting a trade war with your neighbor. Now, Mexico, they expect it, right?
Anyone willing to
Trump's
help?
headed after them since no one showed up to his quinceañera, but
Don't let anything stand in your way.
I require some aid.
Canada. We've always been tied with Canada. We were both British colonies. We played in the same sports leagues together. We share joint custody of Ryan Gosling.
I am at your service.
If Trump is going to launch a trade war with them, I hope he has a good reason, and I'm sure he does.
Feel better already.
We are undefeatable!
Says the tariffs are needed, and he claims Canada and Mexico aren't doing enough to stop illegal immigration and fentanyl shipments.
Of course. Fentanyl and migrants. That makes sense.
You are
We
seeing
can't
now,
just
my
be
friend.
letting Canada pump massive and massive amounts of fentanyl and migrants
roughly 1% of entry in the U.S. comes from Canada, and only 1.5% of Border Patrol encounters with migrants take place after the border.
Destiny
Okay,
awaits.
so it's not fentanyl or migrants, and it can't be because Trump's an insecure wannabe alpha male thumping his chest so the world pays attention to him. So I guess we'll never know. It's probably Joe Biden. What? Look. Whatever it is, Prime Minister Trudeau, he wasn't having it.
Today, the United States is the trade war. Their closest partner and ally, their closest friend. Now I want to speak directly to one specific American.
Destiny awaits.
Even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very
Get
dumb
that vehicle
thing to
moving
do.
again!
Wow. He's mad. And he's not even world leader mad. He's dad mad.
Children of the night shall not stop.
This is the same tone I use when I tell my daughter not to throw her baby sister into the crib.
Come, my
That type
minion.
of person that does this, even though you just did this and you'll probably keep doing
I have
it.
risen.
But you're not this. Okay, Donald? My daughter's name is Donald. And all of Canada is lining up behind Trudeau. Like Ontario's Premier Doug Ford came out to warn America about the consequences of the trade war.
Absolutely love the American people. They're going to be paying more. The market is going to go downhill faster than the American bobsled.
This is
The God of Thunder!
I think. I mean, it sounded like a slam, but if the market will go downhill really fast, that means our bobsled team is also fast. Isn't that like a compliment? Our bobsled team is supposed to go fast, right? Unless he's saying our bobsled team is slow, which is a slam. Then that means the market won't go downhill fast, which is good for our economy. This benefit doesn't make any sense. The point is, Doug Ford is forcing me to learn about bobsledding, and I do not appreciate that. Is there a Canadian who can make an analogy that's a little less confusing? Donna Reardon, the mayor of St. John in New Brunswick, maybe you have a good analogy.
I mean, we've been in this comfortable relationship with our American cousins,
I am at your
and
service.
now we're being attacked. So, we're breaking up with the U.S. and it's not move on.
We're cousins, but we're breaking up. This analogy is even worse than the bobsled. You can't break up with your cousins. Sure, you can both go off and get married. Start your own family. Convince yourself that God, but she's still there at Thanksgiving every year. Yeah, she brings her new husband and she laughs at his jokes, but deep down you can see in her pale blue eyes that she's sad. I'm sad too, Stephanie. I know she can see it in my eyes, which are the same color as hers because we're related, and that's why we can't be together, right? Well, what was I talking about? I'm sorry, but look, that's right. Oh, the trade war that we've launched for no reason. The point is, look, what Donald Trump has done to Canada. They're the nicest country on earth, the sexiest cousin, and look what we've brought them out to do.
To win this one.
Canadians are reasonable, and we are polite. But we will not back down from a fight.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford threatened to shut off his province's electricity exports to the United States and block shipments of Ontario's high-grade nickel.
Canadian liquor stores took American whiskey off the shelves.
There's also hashtags Buy Canadian and Boycott USA going viral.
Canadian coffee shop The Morning Owl in Ottawa has renamed its popular Americano coffee to a Canadiano. WWE fans were drowning out the performance of the Star Spangled Banner in Toronto. Take a listen.
I tend to lost souls like a shepherd tends to his flock.
30 seconds before you attack.
Canada's respect for America has gone down faster than Curtis and Hubert Stevens, gold medalists in the two-man bobsled at the 1932 Lake Placid Olympics. Now that's how you do a bobsled metaphor, Doug.
Then you should worry about Loki, not me.
The star of the night was Donald Trump, and you have to admit he showed a lot of range last night.
3,
okay.
2,
Like
1.
when he talked about Doge finding
All you
Social
need to do is
Security
capture
fraud,
the
he
mission
got to
area.
show off his
Got it?
lying skills.
We're also identifying shocking levels of incompetence and probable fraud in the Social Security program. Government databases list 4.7 million Social Security members from people aged 100 to 109 years old.
I want eyes on this location.
3.6 million people from ages 110 to 119. 3.5 million people from ages 140 to 149. One person is listed at 360 years of age.
I'll be ship-shape in no time.
I can't believe we're paying that many people Social Security. I can't believe it because it's not true, okay? And I could pick them up. I could explain why it's false and why Trump's wasting everybody's time over an Excel spreadsheet here. Or, in the time it would take to explain it, we could watch this video of my dog,
Help get that vehicle to its destination.
America and Wakanda always
Someone stretch my back. But Trump spent a lot of his performance on the ways that Elon Musk is finding, while also showcasing his masterful ability to control.
Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $20 million for the Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Scholarships in Burma. Improving learning outcomes in Asia. LGBTQI+.
Halfway there. Keep going.
In the African nation of Lesotho. $8 million for making mice transgender.
Yeah, I remember that children's book. I think it's called If You Give a Mouse a Pussy, right?
I am at your service.
To be fair, $8 million to transition mice is a waste of money. Just look at Mickey. Put a $6 bow on him and boom, Minnie Mouse. Maybe you shouldn't criticize weird science stuff when your best friend is the one putting microchips in monkey brains, and when those monkeys die, the other new best friend is taking them home in a doggy bag. Being president comes with a lot of pretty cool powers. You can write executive orders, you get one free
Born again!
You even get an uncensored feed of C-SPAN.
Maximum pulse!
But for Donald Trump, the power he enjoys the most is the power to impose tariffs.
Easy. They're fast, they're efficient, and they bring fairness. We're going to bring
There's still
so many
much to
things
do.
back to our country, and the thing that's going to get us there is tariffs. We'll take in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs, and we're going to make our country so strong and so rich, it will never be so rich. Tariffs. It's a beautiful word, isn't it?
Tariff. It's a beautiful word. It's why I named my daughter Tariffany.
I've got your back.
This guy's so horny for tariffs, isn't he? I love any word with big natural double F's.
You are safe now.
According to Donald Trump, tariffs are great, and I also want our country to be rich without any negative consequences. So let's see how he's using tariffs.
The moon haunts you.
Let's sit back and let's watch that economy grow.
U.S. stock markets plunged for the second day in a row.
We've seen consumer confidence tank. Layoff numbers across the U.S. are the highest they've been since 2020.
The R-word is back, thanks in large part to tariffs.
The R word is back? Tariffs brought back the R word? So I guess I can say it.
Wall Street banks are starting to raise a red flag that recession odds have become unsettlingly high.
Right, that R word. Of course, that's what I was thinking. I can be such a recession sometimes. By the way, is recession an R word now? Who thinks the word recession is offensive? Finance bros? Did they get woke? Before we discuss the impending R word, we begin by acknowledging we are on the
Born again!
grill where Chad was unjustly removed by the bartender before he could get a chance to cheat on his wife. Sup, Chad? So basically, Trump said the tariffs are going to be a quick and painless way to get rich.
I have risen.
Now that it turns out we're not all shitting gold, Republicans have moved into their new talking point. Hey, nobody said this was going to be easy. Trust the process.
There'll be a little disturbance.
Quantum match.
We're okay with that.
Maximum pulse!
A little bit of pain going into this.
This is going to be painful. I have to pay a little bit more for something. I'm all for it.
We're going to have to suffer through some bad news. There's going to be a short period of time where there'll be some higher prices on certain products. It's not inflation, that's nonsense.
Yeah. Nonsense. It's not inflation, people. It's just higher prices on food and cars and gas and every other product we import from our biggest trading partners. But you know what? We might be in for some hard times, but tariffs weren't Donald Trump's whole thing.
Oh, I touch it.
The moon haunts you.
Sticks to his guns,
Breaking news, NBC President Trump's officially delaying tariffs on Mexico and Canada.
After all that tariff Trump just backed away from those tariffs like it was a long-time friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. So So tariffs are on, they're delayed, they're off. Who knows if they'll come back, or when, or for how long? Look, I'm not a big business guy. A quick question. Does anyone know what businesses need to make decisions?
Seems the king of the sea has loyal followers.
So it appears the only silver lining
Your powers are
pointless
mine!
trade war is that at least we're only fighting with Canada and Mexico. You know? If you're gonna pick a fight with two sissy countries you can beat. Right? Right?
Together.
Right.
The Chinese embassy in the U.S. tweeted earlier this week, quote, "If war is what the U.S. wants, be it a tariff war, a trade war, or any other type of war, we're ready to fight to the end."
Oh, shit. China
Only
don't play.
60 seconds left.
They're like, if you got beef, we got broccoli, bitch. Let's go.
Born again!
Listen, Donald, Canada and Mexico are one thing, but please don't piss off China. I know you wrote the art of the deal, but they wrote the art of the war, okay?
The moon haunts you!
And I think a trade war with China might lead to, at best, a devastating economic depression, or at worst, nuclear destruction of most of American cities. Or as Trump might say,
threat rises.
A little disturbance.
I'm barely harmed. Get that vehicle moving
One
again.
of Trump's big promises for his second term was deporting violent immigrants from America, and he often mentioned one violent gang in
Trendy Aragua. Remove the savage gang. Trendy Aragua. Trendy Aragua. Trendy Aragua.
You know, the members of
You'll
that
have to
gang
keep
are like,
fighting until we have a winner.
There's still so much to do.
Trump sounds like my grandfather ordering Chipotle. I'll take the Barbara! Buenos nachos! And over the weekend, Trump announced he was deporting hundreds of these suspected Venezuelan gang members all the way back to El Salvador. So, close enough. And of course, these suspected gang members would be afforded a rigorous legal procedure, including a trial, the presentation of evidence, and all the rights of due process. I'm just yelled. He did it, Trump.
The administration invoking an obscure law, the Aliens Enemies Act of 1798, which allows the government to deport people with little to no due process, and was last used to round up Japanese Americans during World War II.
Last used to round up Japanese Americans during World War II. Why does Trump always have to pick the oldest, most racist laws to do what he wants to do? I'm cutting taxes under the authority of the It's Okay to Drown Italians law of 1863. It's not just that it's archaic. Invoking that law has some big problems.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
New tonight, Immigration and Customs Enforcement announces it's detained more than 200 migrants who entered the country illegally last week in our area.
So ICE teams are stepping up their game, tracking down criminals all across the Northeast. Recently arresting over 200 people living illegally in and around New York City in shock raids of homes and apartments. But while this is going on, efforts are underway to stop the Trump administration from deporting anyone, even though some of the people getting arrested have horrible track records and put everyone around them in danger.
More than half have significant criminal convictions or are facing charges for crimes like assault.
This building on
30
DeKalb
seconds
Avenue
before
in
you
the Bronx
attack.
is where
Get
law
ready.
enforcement sources say a 22-year-old member of the Venezuelan gang, Trendy Aragua, was picked up by Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents last week. She is one of 206 people arrested across the New York City area in an operation that the acting ICE director says targeted the most dangerous alien offenders in some of the most crime-infested neighborhoods.
Protests against
the administration. New Yorkers gathering this afternoon to make their voices heard loud and clear. I'm not saying you can't get rid of any yet, but maybe start at the top.
It is my destiny to lead you to victory. Do not stand in the way.
I don't know why we want to romanticize what dangerous gangs are. They're dangerous gangs. And we're going to do everything possible to remove these dangerous gangs off the streets.
121 of the 206 apprehended had significant criminal convictions.
So ICE just arrested over 200 people illegally living in New York, including gang members. But what nobody's talking about is that while America is happy about this, progressive cities like and they're doing everything they can to make sure it stops happening. Because for some reason, they don't think these gang members are actually criminal. Instead, they think the only criminal is the one who recently moved from Trump Tower to the White House with the promise to rid America of dangerous individuals by any means necessary. And Trump's doing it not only by raiding homes and apartments in sanctuary cities, but also by locking down the southern border like never before. Deploying U.S. military troops in armored vehicles and helicopters on the front lines of America's battle with illegal immigration to track down and capture anyone attempting to enter the country without permission, something which has been a big deterrent, stopping people from entering our country who shouldn't be here.
This is real firepower!
Virginia have so-called advocates so upset. An open border anyone can cross is a bad idea because it allows criminals intent on harming Americans and legal U.S. residents the power to do so. Once they're inside
This is real firepower!
Like this.
Police have regular state driving from Houston to Maryland with 8 other people in the car, but there was no lights in the car, and that led police to suspect this was a The year before, Vega Garcia's wife Jennifer had filed for a temporary protective order against him.
So that guy right there, he is the poster child for this entire war on illegal immigration. The Trump administration says he's a gang member who was sent to El Salvador to make a president, but politicians and, again, activists in this country are desperate to get him back in America for some reason. And apparently his wife confirmed he's one of the people in this clip right here being moved into that state-of-the-art prison facility designed for gang members. And even though this guy was in the U.S. illegally and is covered in MS-13 tattoos and was arrested with other confirmed members of MS-13, there are people out there who prefer to refer to him as a Maryland father instead of a criminal gang member. And as you're about to see, this is not an isolated incident because there are some people in America who think every single gang member here who ICE takes down is innocent.
Diego Garcia, who arrived illegally from El Salvador in 2011 and was arrested in 2019. Us against the world!
I'll patch you up. If he's guilty, I don't even know if any of the 300 are guilty. I assume some of them might be.
So we got protest in Midtown Manhattan, and the protesters, they don't think anything that ICE is taking down is actually guilty of anything. And they really think ICE is out there arresting people, sweeping them off the streets, and it's all by accident. And this is supported by their belief that America has spiraled into some sort of dictatorship because a president elected specifically on his promise to remove criminals from our country who are already here without permission has somehow usurped democracy and is going against the will of the people, taking away everyone's rights, even though reality tells a different story.
This building on DeKalb Avenue in the Bronx is where law enforcement sources say a 22-year-old member of the Venezuelan gang Frente Aragua was picked up by Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents last week. She is one of 206 people arrested across the New York City area in an operation that the acting ICE director says targeted the most dangerous alien offenders in the country.
This is real firepower!
Those gang members were residing while they committed crimes throughout the city. But I guess this building in the Bronx isn't the place any of the people attending protests in Midtown have ever been or lived themselves. Here is a photo of the woman that was arrested. She's a gang member. One of the neighbors says people like this have no money or knew there was an elderly person living in the building. She'd have no problem breaking in and stealing from that person. These are people who they need to be engaged. On top of that, these criminals are traffickers and human exploiters. They're in charge. In crime taking over areas of town. Protesters can't even find a map, like Roosevelt Avenue in Queens, where outdoor theft markets line the streets full of stolen goods, being sold by people who might not necessarily want to spend 12 hours a day kneeling walking on the sidewalk. Yet New York City's protester classes fought the lie that these individuals haven't done anything wrong, even if they've started all of this out by coming into the country illegally and then doing more illegal things once they're here.
I don't know why we want to romanticize what dangerous gangs are. They're dangerous gangs. And we're going to do everything possible to collaborate with federal officials to remove these dangerous gangs off our streets.
ICE says with federal partners like the FBI and the U.S. Marshals, 121 of the 206 apprehended had significant criminal convictions. The NYC Acting Field Office Director said
this is real firepower!
You know something, Barrett? Dwight Button, he's probably going to lose his campaign for re-election because he's saying stuff like this. He's going to cooperate with the enemy of these protesters, which is ICE. And when you look at these crowds of protesters, you see people who've been brainwashed by mainstream news and do not think for themselves. But sadly, in New York, this is where all the money in politics comes from, and these are people who will decide the next election here. Even though all of these criminals are in the country illegally, committed crimes and are dangerous enemies of America. They're not here to live the American dream. They're here to exploit our laws. And these protesters don't think they've done anything wrong by coming here and doing just that, while living openly as criminal members of their communities.
A suspected gang member with warrants for kidnapping, burglary, and a gun crime, authorities told us. Around 5:30 a.m., heavily armed agents raided this apartment building and find the suspect and 3 other male associates, all handcuffed and without incident. Also there,
Only 60 seconds left.
So here we have ICE raiding an apartment in who they met a criminal gang member living with children. And the neighbors of this building had no idea a dangerous criminal wanted in multiple states was living right next to them. They're crossing with this individual every single day. Now, obviously, the people holding these signs and protesting these raids think criminals like this guy are innocent. After all, they were part of a family living with little children, and now they're separated, and oh, how awful this is. Yet the reality is, everyone in proximity to these criminals was indeed that whole building. All of the people there are now better off. This guy is taken down by ICE. But as you're about to see, there's an effort, a mainstream narrative that there is some massive uprising, and everybody's upset that these gang members
By the thousands, demonstrators rallied in major U.S. cities. Angry about the Trump administration's deportation agenda.
Everyone should have due process. No one should be just taken away and locked up.
I don't think it matters who you are or what situation you're in. That should concern you now. Due process has been abandoned for everybody.
Many protesters welcome
So due process.
This is real firepower!
These people who are Americans putting themselves in the shoes of criminals who are here illegally and imagining if ICE were to come to my house in my pajamas and arrest me. They're trying to empathize with these criminals, but the only way they can do it is by creating a fantasy in their minds where American citizens and legal U.S. residents who are entitled to due process don't get it somehow. And every single person at these rallies has rights. Someone who's stuck into the country wearing a mask doesn't. Yet this is how these people have themselves all riled up. This is how these people have themselves convinced that America is spiraling out of control and has passed the point of no return. Yet the best thing America could do is return people like this back to where they came from.
One of these individuals is so dangerous that we needed the backup of the NYPD to be there in case things went south.
Today's Bronx operation required around 36 law enforcement, yielding a handful of arrests. Is that a ratio you're...
So here you've got protesters in Midtown screaming about this grave injustice, but the reality is ICE is taking down dangerous criminals who are so unpredictable that they need backup from local police. ICE is overwhelmed. These guys in this armored vehicle with weapons and night vision, they needed backup to take down these gang members. NYPD uniform right here going into the building with them just to make sure that nothing bad happens, and protesters are against getting people like this out of the country.
We're using the laws